Hi, everyone. Welcome to the PoliticAL update with me, Alexandra Acker-Lyons. I pay attention to the political news so you don't have to. This is the advice I give my millionaire clients, and you get it for free. It is Friday, May 14th. We're going to do a kind of a longer dive today because I have a lot to say about redistricting and House races. But a couple of other updates first. So Nebraska, yay! So Dan Osborne now has a clear shot in a head-to-head race with Pete Ricketts in that Senate race. He is running as an independent. The Democrat who won the primary had pledged to drop out. Way to be a team player. Good job. And my friend Denise Powell won in Nebraska too. I am so excited. This is the Blue Dot District in Omaha. That district is now rated lean Democrat. It will still be hotly contested, and she will need lots of money for the general election. But I'm absolutely thrilled that we're probably sending Denise to Congress, where she's going to do just a kick-ass job. Yay! Also want to raise up that this Saturday are the All Roads Lead to the South March and protests. You can go to blackpowerwarroom.com/day of action to learn more. A ton of organizations across the South and national groups are helping to organize a huge march in Selma to draw attention to overturning the Voting Rights Act. We should just call it overturning because that's what they did, right? Like they gutted it, but like people don't know what that means. You know, the Voting Rights Act is basically no more. And some solidarity marches in other parts of the country as well. So go check that out. I'll put the link in the notes. Some good news. We get to keep mifepristone, at least for now. I think this is a Supreme Court decision that kind of set up the hardline anti-abortion versus business interests, because had they said that a drug that was approved over 30 years ago was no longer safe, the wheels would come off the cart, and pharma would be mad. So I will see. They definitely kept the door open for other future challenges, but we're okay for now. And I strongly encourage everyone to go stock up on Plan B and medication abortion and all of the things you need. They are shelf stable for many years. Trump is also, I think, on his way home now from the China trip, where he went to China, got a parade, and didn't seem to get much else. Just the corruption of putting all of these CEOs on Air Force One with him is unbelievable. And then we got news about this IRS deal where they're going to settle with the IRS for Trump's outrageous $10 billion lawsuit. He'll just take $1.7 million of our taxpayer money and give it to himself. So I think Democrats need to start just making a chart of all of the money that Donald Trump is taking from taxpayers, because it is unfucking believable. And we need to be talking about all kinds of reforms and putting all kinds of things in play. Okay, so I want to come back to redistricting and the House map. So redistricting is moving forward in Missouri. Looks like South Carolina is reconsidering, and Mississippi. Mississippi, but for 2028. Georgia, but for 2028. Louisiana, and Alabama. So what this basically means is, and Larry Sabato's crystal ball has a great rundown. The down ballot has a great rundown. Democracy docket has great updates, including a wonderful map that shows you kind of what's happening where. So we will need to flip 9 to 11 seats-ish. We're estimating that Republicans will pick up 6 to 8 seats. We obviously have some pickups in California and Utah. So things will kind of even themselves out, except for those 6 to 8 seats that Some of those will be more competitive than Republicans anticipated in places like Texas and Florida. So in a good political environment, we can win them. In a less favorable political environment, we might lose them. But for this year, for this cycle, in order to take back the House, we will need to win 9 to 11 seats. That is totally doable. G. Elliott Morris's Strength in Numbers said Democrats need to be able to win the popular vote by 3 to 4 points. We're currently at around +7. And for context, in 2018, we were +7.3, but Donald Trump's approval rating was 43.5 on Election Day in 2018. And it is currently much lower, and I anticipate it will stay much lower. So the political environment is there for us to do it. However, we need to be expanding this playing field. So there is currently only 16 races rated as a toss-up, 4 currently held by Democrats, 12 by Republicans. There are 14 lean and likely Republican House races that are in the R+0, so an even district, to the +3 range. We need to make all of those competitive. I think a lot of those races will move, right? If they're rated lean R now, they'll be toss-ups by Election Day. If they're rated likely R now, they'll be lean Republican by Election Day. So if we're in that range of like +7 to +10, that means that we're looking at being able to win potentially like 17 House seats. And we need every single one of them, because in 2028, we just don't know what's going to happen, right? More states will redistrict, including a bunch of blue states, my state of Colorado, New York, Illinois. But we just don't know how far Republicans will go in the other states. Will they go back and redraw Texas again? Like, how are they going to respond? So we need every single seat we can get in this favorable political environment. So I wrote a memo called Where to Give Now, which I put out occasionally. I'm now putting it up on Substack, and my Substack is Acker-Lyons. I will also put the link to this in the notes. Would love if you could subscribe. It is free for now, at least. We'll see. So there's 24 districts I'm calling opportunity districts. These range from D+1 in Pennsylvania 1 to R+9 in Colorado 4. It includes some districts where the dynamics are a little bit different. So Alaska, where we have ranked choice voting. 6 districts that Split Ticket calls with their war ratings, where Republicans underperform Donald Trump. So there's 6 districts there. Then there are districts like Arizona 2, Colorado 5, Iowa 2, Michigan 4, Montana 1, and Texas 15 that are located outside of major metropolitan areas, which means they're in cheaper media markets. And that's really important because a huge proportion of campaign money still goes to paid TV ads. And it just makes the bang for the buck and ROI in those districts much more impactful. We don't know exactly what's going on in Florida. They just redistricted. Some Democratic incumbents are figuring out which district they're going to potentially run in. And some of these races that I'm talking about are very high profile, like Michigan 10 and Pennsylvania 8 and Virginia 1. But some of them are not even on the DCCC's red to blue list yet. And there are a lot of people doing some really smart analysis, looking at places where we can be expanding the House map. And you all know I'm a broken record on that. So take a look. I do have a slate to give to the candidates in these opportunity districts where there is either not a primary, the primary has concluded, or there's a really strong front runner who we can kind of assume will be the nominee. Would love feedback on that, and would love to know other races that you're looking at. And then I finally want to go to 2028 has begun because there's been a lot of AOC news. She spoke at the Institute of Politics, had a great discussion about how, Republicans think she's running because she wants a title or it's all about ego. And she's like, no, I am running to change the system. And I am like, hell yeah, I am here for it. I want us to be coming up with an economic version of the Green New Deal. What can 80% of our presidential candidates all agree on to be remaking our economy? What are the 80% of reforms that all of our candidates can agree on to be remaking our democracy? And we need really bold ideas. They don't necessarily have to come from AOC and the left wing of the party. Like, come at me. I'm reading books about tax policy and the history of deregulation in the Reagan era. We've just got to think bigger because clearly the economy is not working for people, hasn't been for a really long time. Clearly our democracy is not working for people, hasn't been for a really long time. And there is a new Atlas Intel poll of prospective 2028 candidates with AOC at the top. And it's interesting to me that with like near universal name ID, right? So AOC, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, all probably have about the same universal name ID, especially with Democratic primary voters. And AOC is coming out on top. Pete Buttigieg is up there too. There's, a lot of governors that people have just not really heard of outside of their own state. But it is incredibly interesting and never a dull moment. My shout out of the week goes to all of the data dorks. So I name dropped a couple of them here today. There's a lot of links in my Substack memo. But just a huge thank you to the people in politics who can do math. Because then I take your math and I add my analysis to it, and I'm just very grateful. Enjoy. I hope you have beautiful weather like we do here in Denver, and talk to you next week.